Okay, so let's discuss the challenge that's coming up for June. It's a character design, magical companion, and post-apocalyptic AI children. These were the two last that you guys were voting on, and I couldn't choose one over the other because many people voiced they really wanted to do the post-apocalyptic robot children. So I'm just going to do them both for you guys. The briefs are there. For the magical companion is the Jinn design. Probably should have put post-apocalyptic before that. But a couple of rules. The resource pack that they come in, so they come in this little resource file. So you go to magical companion or post-apocalyptic robot, AI or whatever. These and these are not meant as these are your references for the robot children. These are not meant to be photobashed. You are using these as inspiration to seam together a design for angry little robot children. But you are definitely not using the photographs and manipulating them in some sort of photo bashing way or matte painting or something like that. So that's not allowed. You're supposed to start them from scratch. Everything that we discussed in the character design themes where we sketched them, thought about silhouette, about gesture, standing gesture, no turnaround, no funny business with the pose. It has to be a front-facing pose. It can have a little bit of uniqueness in the way they're standing with a little bit of attitude and personality, but you're not supposed to be making them jump up and down and do some crazy squats and stuff like that. But if you are going to be following these, here's another example of some references from Recess, and another one for you. So they're robot android AIs. They are children. That you can, if you've read the brief, you'll see. If you wanted the brief, go to istebrak.com, go to the community tab. The resource pack should be downloadable over there. But yeah, that's some questions. Now let's see what you guys are asking. This is my first stream. I've been watching your videos so much to change. Critique there. So for the critique in the miscellaneous folder, can you post anything for critique there, as long as it follows the rules of the community? Paste a link on what? What link? Robot child or children, plural in art or just one? Same goes for the Jinn fused with its master. For the Jinn designs or the robot designs, you can design as many as you want. Limited to 5. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have time to paint 5 fully painted, fully finished character designs. But you are entitled to paint 5 robots. And of course you only have 3 descriptions of the Jinn companion. So you're limited to those 3. If you wanted to do more than 2 designs for the tall and ruthless soldier whose arms are the Jinn, you know, the Jinn shaped itself into its missing arms, so he became infused with its master, being the weapon of its master. So it's a really cool place to play around with secondary light sourcing and shapes and silhouette. If you wanted to try 2 different versions of the first master, you can go ahead. If you wanted to do all 3, you can do that. Okay, so please spread the word. You are allowed to draw more than one. For each of these. I gave you references of many children standing beside each other. You can have one long one short one, and I give you a lot of these adorable babies with their prosthetics. And I feel like this is exactly what we're supposed to be working from when we're combining the cute, innocent android build along with its under wiring and under mechanics, like what's keeping the robot together. So this is a great place to pull from that. Over here, you can try different kinds of prostheses because the robots, if you've read the brief, you'll see that they don't have any more, you know, their programmers and their designers aren't with them anymore. This is post-apocalyptic, so they've had to make do with like makeshift arms, makeshift weapons, and it's just like a you know, clusterfuck of different props that they put together in the design. So you want to make it look messy. You don't want to make it look clean. You want to make it look like it's post-apocalyptic. There isn't much really mass production of any certain kind of weapon. Everyone is custom. Everyone's design is a custom design. So if I'm seeing like uniforms This is the problem. I love this picture because everyone's wearing something different, and that's kind of what I want you guys to pull from. Everyone looks different. The colors have a variety, but they're all adorable children. They're all from different age groups. The limit for the age groups for the children, it has to stay children. If it's a 25-year-old bouncing double D titty girl, it's not children, all right? If I see anything with like double D's or even A's, A cup, I am just throwing that. I'm deleting it from the community. All right, it's children, so please don't pervert it in that way. It's children, they're babies. So that was the point, is that we're designing for, maybe just imagine it as a portfolio piece for something that you worked on. Maybe it was going to be in a movie or something like that. This is all concept art, so make sure you follow the brief exactly. Sorry for the spam of questions, but are jinns elemental as in wind? Yes, from what I think about lore and jinns, they are elementals. The jinns here, yes, they are elementals. So I do leave hints here, you know, describing the fact that they are elementals. What did I do? God, I made a mess. But it's serving the purpose. So this one is fire, this one is wind, this one is earth. And I don't have anything for water or anything like that. By the way, I'm super excited for all the different categories. I want to do them all. I would like to allow you guys to do them both, but I think that's going to be some crazy amount of spammage, especially for the work in progress submissions from now until 3 weeks. I might extend it into 4 weeks because I think 3 weeks is a small amount of time. Can we do anything from Wally, like with scrap metal and rust and everything, to Eva, like very futuristic, modern, maybe with just more scrapped or rusted, but still the same? Yes, Kina. You have a lot of rain over this. I left this very vague on purpose. You want something that's super, super rusted, probably like Model 1 or Class 1 kind of design, then feel free. If you want something that's a little bit more shiny, it's good to have it looking like a iRobot kind of design, all shiny and translucent. But remember, it was supposed to be for children. It's supposed to be a companion for children. They could have been teddy bears. They could have been anything like that. Anything that we see, you know, just walking beside a child. And make sure you keep it PG. Make sure you keep it as if this was all going to be like a movie like Toy Story or something like that. Just crazy kids fighting on a barren landscape. It's hilarious. It's a lot of space for hilarity. Seeing all those children fighting with really dysfunctional weapons. Where is the challenge page? Where is everything written? Okay, I've described that already. By Istebrak.com, community. Download this resource pack. It's downloaded from my Dropbox, so it's fine. It's a little zip file. Open that up and read everything in there. What else? Do the AI children still have human components like flesh? No, they're robots. So no, they don't. Just imagine they use. I mean, Ex Machina, that movie. Just whatever they did with her body, but just remember a child. Can we do anything from can it be a baby robot's head that's collected scrap and made himself into a big mech? I mean, you want to leave behind the fact that it still was a child's companion. So something like that followed a baby around playing in the playground but had the capacity to defend the child for any reason. So like a babysitter, that's a baby that the child can play with. Perfectly functional AI. So if it's come to the level where it's no longer recognizable silhouette-wise as a child, it's going to look kind of weird. I think that's fair. I think just make sure that it still looks like a child's companion. It still looks like a imaginary friend or something like that. For the robot kids, can their backgrounds be in underground cities in the desert? No. The backgrounds for character design, any kind of character design that we have, any kind of character design assignment, the background is always gray. This is for the sake of your portfolio. I don't want your portfolios looking silly. What else? Symbiotic relationship. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He kind of fuses with him. The jinn kind of fuses with its master. And then from there, we have different silhouettes, you know, the malleable silhouettes that emerge out of that. So whatever, see, I can't tell you everything because that's the concept portion of the design. You guys have to decide on a lot of this stuff. But as long as you're following the general gist of this, I'll be taking a look at the work in progress shots. So if you are participating in this challenge, it is highly recommended to upload at least once a week a progress shot of your work. Please don't post every day a progress shot, just once a week, every other day, or minimum like maximum 2 a week. Progress shots, work in progress screenshots, so that we can make sure we're steering you in the right direction if you've completely deviated outside of the brief. Should the style be like for a children's animation? Yes. Good question, Mighty Pantsu. Yes. Can it be a robot chicken? No. The details are posted on the website, Istebrak.com, community tab, and just download it from there. Let me see if I'm missing any more questions. Do the jinn have to be super elemental ethereal, or can we make them a bit more fleshy? So the point is, the jinn is not human. It does not have flesh. It has an unearthly flesh, something like a fire, as I described. So when it fuses with the human, it kind of just, it's you know, there's, you know, the artificial hand that the guy from Harry Potter that was a mouse, that was a rat, what was his name, Wormtail? You know, the hand that he got? That's typically what I mean by an extension of the human's body, but with, of course, the material of the jinn. So this is really great texture challenge as well. You have the human component of the master, and then you have the extended arms of whatever's missing. For the guy that gets really big, I probably see him more as from the Fantastic Four, the rock guy, but a little bit more translucent than that. So he's like inside a massive giant, or the massive giant arms are attached to him Hulk-like. But he possibly can, the bodies can be changed and shifted. For the Windy Girl, for the dancer, what she could have had happen to her was maybe her body became elongated. So she doesn't keep her perfect human figure. Of course, she's merged with a jinn, so that means that her entire human silhouette has been exaggerated to be a little bit more manipulated, to be a little bit more elongated, depending on the element of the jinn that possessed her. Okay, so these are really fun. These are not boring. These open a lot of space for color use, color combination, silhouettes, gestures, props, you know, character expression, characterization, emotion, hairstyles, clothing styles, costumes. All of that is really, really open and really, really open to creativity. It's not very limited. So you have a lot of fun to have with these. These are intentionally fun. They're like a little bit more of a break compared to what we've seen before. For the genie challenge, is the companion and hero supposed to be fused together? Yes. For the AI, one person only or more. Are we supposed to draw both the jinn or the master, or both together? You're drawing them fused. You can have the option of drawing them unfused. Fused or unfused. Yes, master and being have become a single being. Yes. So jinn use their, please design this jinn and its master along the descriptions below. Along the descriptions below, here to refer to this clause, meaning that they have in this section of this binding contract, we see that they have, yes, fused together. So yes, you do have to draw them fused together. You have the option of drawing them separate if you want to, but you have 3 to draw. You're drawing both separately. That means 6 illustrations all around. I'd rather have 1 crazy good illustration than 6 half-finished ones or unfinished ones. So yeah, just make your choices from that. I chose the idea of the man who got his back destroyed by the rubble. So I also chose a thunder jinn to stick on his back since it can't be seen. I use clouds to be his upper torso. Good? No. We, the audience, can see the jinn. It's just in the story, people around him can't see them. People around them, around these characters, can see the jinn. when they're fused with the master. Okay? The only thing that I described is out of battle, it follows the warrior around as an unseen shadow, visible only to others who have been chosen. So we can still see it. We're the audience. We can see everything. We're omnipotent. So please don't not show me the jinn. This is the whole design is please design the jinn and its master. So please make sure you're showing me. So for the broken, for the strong man, the tank, yes, I do want to see how you incorporate the thunder jinn, and I really love how you interpreted thunder out of that. Very, very nice. It was earth, but I understand how you took it there. To clarify, we're not drawing the jinn, we're drawing the jinn incorporated into the human. Yes, exactly. This is why I said magical companion isn't what you guys think it is. It's more of an attachment, a growth that moves along with the main character. This is still character design, so we still need a character, so the character is the human. Thank you for giving us both options for the challenge this month. You're very welcome. Because it's both options, this is why I might extend it to 4 weeks. It'll count as a second challenge. Give me a bit of a break. That can also be arranged. Can someone please draw an armless character with fused octopus companion? That would be so cool. Please make sure you are keeping this djinn-like, and I gave you a lot of references that inspire that djinn look. Gotta get into this paint over now before we run out of time. But I wanted to show you the PortraitStudio updates. This is the new model for PortraitStudio, male and female. Don't they just look pretty? They look gorgeous. I would much rather better lighting than this Abu, but it's okay if you can't find it. Okay, so these are the new models for the new PortraitStudio. If you don't currently have a copy of it, and you buy the copy now, you buy it with its current price as well as the update that's coming. So you pay for the update that's coming. One-time buy, updates for life. But for those who currently have a copy of it, you're getting these exact models soon. Subsurface scattering, new models, better shadows, less mess all around. Okay, I love her. She's a little bit more organic than the model we have right now. She's got a little bit more familiarity, less, she is very beautiful, the one that we had, but I don't know what to call her. Cecilia, I really like that name, so maybe we'll just call her Cecilia. But yeah, thank you, Cecilia, for the time you served our community, but it's time to upgrade to a more believable Cecilia. What else? How are the expression sliders? Just as efficient as before, if not more. So in the new PortraitStudio, you're going to have everything. You're going to have the form studio separate, so a bunch of forms for those who want to do form studies. You're going to have the new models, full body. We're working on pre-posed models, models that have been pre-posed for you to reference from. Universal poses that are applicable to all kinds of character design. You're going to have the neck slider, so the neck rig is going to be perfectly riggable. It's not going to be pre-posed or anything, movable as you want it. The expressions, of course, customizable features of the face, the customizable lighting. Lighting is much more advanced than before, and for those who have high-end computers, you'll be able to turn on PortraitStudio X, we're going to call it, which is super high performance. It's going to be a really good graphics card, but we want you guys to have that option as well. You're going to have, what else was that? That was the expressions, the camera, the camera that you can move around. So you're going to have all the possible avenues of motion and movement that you would have in an open studio with a model, but it's just virtual, of course. Any last questions? Is in PortraitStudio an option for cast shadows? I didn't find it. If yes, if not, is it intended in the future? What do you mean for cast shadows? To turn cast shadows off? You don't like cast shadows? An option for cast shadows. If you don't want cast shadows, how are you going to see the object? Not having cast shadows, but you want a face, you just have to decrease the, you see the arrow? The arrow is indicating the angle at which the light is facing the face. So you can decrease this angle and decrease the ambience. Let me just decrease the ambience strength. Decrease the light intensity, and you can just follow this, but I don't recommend this one. Cast shadows are very fun. Cast shadows are beautiful. But yeah, if you don't want cast shadows in your reference, you just have to fix the angle of the light source. You can't turn off cast shadows in an engine without turning off the light. And without the light, then you can't program light. You can't program anything. You can't program any of these. These are all cast shadows technically. When is the release date for the upgrade? Right now what we're looking at is probably a mid-June release date, hopefully. Ideally. The models are done. Our modeler did an amazing job. So yeah, it might include a hand, and if it includes the hand, it delays the release. It might include a rig. If it includes a rig, it'll delay the release. I don't want to delay the release any longer. I love the new models. I want to use them in my classes as soon as possible. And yeah, so yeah. No, objects having cast shadows on a floor. Oh, okay. Yes, we do. We will. We will have that. Not her. There's no floor beneath her. But we will be having... you know, in the Form Studio, you're going to have a floor on which the objects fall. And in a couple videos ago, you'll see updates. You'll be able to see exactly what's going to happen in the new PortraitStudio. So let me just show you really quickly. Videos. Right here, this announcement, you see this? This is a screenshot of what PortraitStudio is going to look like, what Form Studio is going to look like. So it's going to look a little something like this. Fully to your power. It's going to be exactly as you need it. This is going to be in your computer soon, for those who own it. It's going to be a separate scene that you open from within PortraitStudio. We might have a possible separate sale of Form Studio at a much cheaper cost, of course, but it would be just Form Studio alone. But these are the updates. I promised you upgraded bodies, upgraded everything, and we are working on it. Of course, all thanks go to our modeler and our programmer. We're a small, tiny little team, and I'm just the boss, bossing everyone around. But yeah, thank you to you too, very much. Will it include feet in a future update? It already has feet. But yes. Why is the ball moving? There was a book can explain that very well. It's a collider thing. Okay, so let's get started. Geez, that was a lot of updates. All right. It'll have subsurface scattering. It'll have everything. It'll have everything you need to get good references and just succeed. Okay, so let's start on some 14-day challenge submissions. Today I couldn't really decide on a theme for us. So I'm just going to do 14-day challenges, which is what I usually do. The head is too long. So for those who don't know what a 14-day challenge is, you're just drawing the same face over and over again for 14 days straight. And what you're benefiting out of this is that you're ironing out all of your mistakes. Any mistake you make, you're supposed to be critiqued on. So every single day that you work on for 14 days, you're supposed to get a critique. There is a separate category for you to post your daily submissions on the community. But typically what it's you're supposed to be, ideally, you're supposed to be improving on your light and your anatomy, your form and your anatomy. So this is something I would want you to fix for your next day. You're in day 6. You shouldn't be having many of these major anatomy mistakes. I love the eyes. I love the blending. I love everything about it. The only problem I have with the eyes is that you've got really, really dark shadows along here, and they're too dark. I'm so sorry about my voice. It's really bad. So your shadows here are much too dark, and the lights are much too light. You've got just too much contrast around the eyes. And, you know, God knows why, but I think that's, like, if I were to guess why you do, God damn it, is because of, you know, eyes are always they're always the stage of mistake making, either with symbols or with cast shadows. For some reason, a long time ago, you know, we drew eyes very well with lines, and out of that we thought, you know, lines are the best thing for eyes, and we stuck with that thought permanently, and we will always suffer from that. Eyes are the most important thing in a portrait, and of course that's where we make all the major mistakes. Too much is happening. Sorry, I'm gonna just cough real quick. Okay, so we've got before, after. So you had too much darkness around the eyes. That left behind this really large gradient, which is kind of ugly. It's not really supposed to be there. It's just a sharp, tiny little shadow. Sorry about my computer, how PortraitStudio is on. I should probably do the piece that needs it and then turn it off. But yeah, PortraitStudio is very demanding on your computers. And with this coming upgrade, it's going to be having maybe a little bit more of a, it's going to be a little bit more demanding. However, Abu has assured me that the programming, from the programming side, he's made things very, very efficient. So it might mean actually not as demanding, especially if we're separating the superior lighting into another scene. An option you can turn it on and off. Considering the use of Photoshop, you should try to invest as much as possible. You know, if you can, save up to have a better computer all around for not just PortraitStudio, for Photoshop and all that business. Remember, like the first 4 years of this channel was all my old computer, and it was just the flipping worst. This cast shadow moves down along here. This inner part of the upper eyelid doesn't get any light. It's mostly the fattiest part of the upper eyelid, the most sticky outy part. And that means this right here. Okay. And then as you can see, I threw this in shadow, threw this in shadow, and this in shadow, and that's because the sphere is sticking out the most. So we have, actually, I'm just gonna clean this up. But yeah, lately I've been trying to move more into some masterpieces. That was my kind of part of my New Year's resolution for 2017. Just do some masterpieces. And we're already at almost the halfway mark, so I can't believe it. But I thought it's time to try a masterpiece. And the idea came to me in a workout. The idea was Merlin the wizard blessing Excalibur for the first time, and then he just throws it into the sword, into the rock. And as I told you guys many a time before, plan, and I didn't plan that much. I planned, but not as much as I should have. And I also said, masterpiece is only good for one thing. If it's good for anything, it's good for this reason, and that's revealing to you what you don't know how to do. And I still struggle with hands. I still struggle a great deal with hands, so that's exactly, and I just hear myself talking in my head as I'm sitting there in the stream, and I'm like, holy shit, I have no idea what to do with the hands. And it's fine, you don't have to memorize every single hand pose, but you do have to be able, like, you have to prepare for the kind of pose you want for the hand. And I was in between 4 or 5 different poses, and because of that I was incapable of deciding on one specific silhouette, so I ended up messing up the composition because I brought in a stupid staff, and because a hand holding a staff is much easier for me to comprehend than a hand open and foreshortening. So I messed up myself that way, and it kind of just served as a lesson. You know, plan to the last, plan the kind of fabric you're using. Plan everything, every secondary light source. And I did plan all the lights. You know me, I planned for the light source. But when it came to hands, I kind of just was like, I'll let future Istebrak deal with this. And then I messed it up. And then you need a couple of edges down here. So what I did was I darkened the lower half of the eyeball. An eyeball and a top-down light source, its shadow is on the lower half, but you didn't have any shadows. You kind of inverted the shadows a little bit. The contrast that you needed. Alright, so I'm just going to go back. Alright, so before, it felt like it was a hollow head. And that shadow flattened out the circle, the sphere of the eye. So that was too intense. And the top of the head was too high. Okay. Okay, so this is the one I wanted to work with PortraitStudio. Your shadows are all pointing up, as if the light source was down here, casting all the shadows up there. So let me show you how that works. So we've got this. See how all the shadows is coming from top, it's coming from the bottom, right? The light is underneath her. See how all her shadows are pointing up? Exactly what you did. And then we invert that. And we not sure what just happened. Oh fuck, right, wrong slider. We invert that and we have all the shadows pointing down. So the top half of the head is the one that's illuminated with very light values compared to the shadows on either side of the cheek. But what you did was the exact opposite of that. And that's not acceptable. That's a geometric anatomy mistake. That's the kind of stuff you fix early on in the painting process. So that's something your 14-day challenge is helping you correct. This is getting mileage under your belt. You made this mistake before you made it in a masterpiece. Again, to reiterate, that's exactly what a 14-day challenge is for. It's all study all the time. Okay, so I'm pointing all these shadows downward. They're all moving down in this light environment. You have way too much exposure on the face. Way too bright. On top of the head. So I'm gonna just turn that off. Top of the head here. And then the forehead builds up on this like U shape. And if this was colored, the color that you throw on the forehead is actually the environment color, for those who are curious. This is all radiated, like descending radially towards the temples. We don't have light cheekbone value all the way out here. It's a little bit more of a descent. And then you've got the fact that the nose is not as exposed to all this light as everything else is. There's no line here, by the way, guys. Please remember that there's no line between the eyes on that area where the nose slides into the forehead. That's what it does. It slides. A slide has no edges. If a slide had steps halfway through, you'd come off the slide very sore. All right? Slide doesn't have steps on it, so this slides right back up into the forehead. The reason why I do this is just to remind myself this is where the shadow starts. But this is one of those areas where it's not a geometry. It's not the edge of the nose. It's not some kind of sphere. It's the top of the bridge, and it slides directly into the top of the forehead. I'm not taking any questions right now, so if you guys aren't talking directly to me, I can't see what you guys are saying. I'll let you know when I look at the chat for some questions, and if I do, just write @ Istebrak so I can find them. Okay, so if you haven't started your 14-day challenge, every artist should try to spend some significant amount of time studying faces. And the 14-day challenge is one way of studying faces. I mean, it's the most efficient way, in my opinion. It gets rid of color, it gets rid of all the hair that'll confuse you into thinking hair is more important than the eyes. Any other kind of accessories that'll confuse you outside of focusing on the focal point, which are this T-zone. You have an outline around the eyes right now, which is makeup. You'll call it makeup when someone asks you what that line is, but it's not supposed to be there. It's a water line. So you should get rid of that. And draw the eye as if it is a just makeup-free eye. Your 14-day challenge should have minimal makeup dependency. Makeup hides form from us. It's artificial form. Eye needs to be lightened just a little bit more. It's okay, I'll erase the layer. Try to work as fast as possible. Very well. And then we've got the shadow of the lower eyelid, which is extremely important to shadow. Look at all that form that just emerged. Just getting rid of that annoying line. You have so much in return. The exchange is worth it. I ask you all, is the exchange worth it? Who can argue for the fact that the exchange is not worth it? Does anyone have an argument? I challenge you. Does anyone have an argument that says the exchange of line to edge is not worth it? When is it not worth it? Don't say cartooning or anything like that. Cartoonists, animators need the edge. That's how they build the silhouette and draw friendly, non-realistic, universal-looking cartoons for a audience that includes children that don't really process all this realism. But altogether, in your attempt to be illustrators, when is it worth it? It's not worth it to leave the line. It's not going to help you. Exchanging Canadian dollars for American is not worth Jeremy. It's not worth it to keep the line. Write that back to me. The exchange is just too, it's too worth it. So it's not worth it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think I've just confused all my ESL watchers. I mean, my verbiage is already so complicated. Alright, and then I'm just going to throw in a quick line here for the waterline. Waterline is really important. It's a mechanical component of the eyes. We also have the halfway circle. It's not worth it to keep the line. Yes. By the way, I have some memes to share with you guys. Jeremy, do you have them in a file for me? Let's have some fun. At the end of the class, let's look at some memes. Some of my followers made some memes. And my God, they had me cracking up. They're so funny. Let me just turn Skype on so Jeremy can message me. But yeah, Jeremy, if you've got some memes for me, please send them over. Send me the full resolution ones. I think I downloaded like all the bad res. Alright, so we'll look at the before and after, and you'll see what getting rid of that line did for your portrait. And that's what your 14-day challenge is supposed to be about. Getting rid of all your bad habits and discovering your bad habits and then uprooting them. So we've got before, after. Right? These are real issues that you have. You don't have an audience for this. There isn't a wide audience for this. You've definitely got an audience for this. And you still have, I decreased the values a lot, you still have such a climb left for all this contrast. You have a great chance here to build up way more shine. I brought back the nose shine and the lip shine and the chin. What you had before was way too much, man. Send them over, Jer Bear. People demand. You too, Izem. Send me your memes. Let me turn Discord on as well. God, Discord is so obnoxious. Just alright. Flatten. It takes forever to load. Alright, I changed my stupid email. Okay, so there's that. Then we have this one. It's not so much a shadow issue with this one. You seem to have all your shadows in place. Let me see if there's a... Yeah, I still do need the PortraitStudio on. This one has a bit of a problem interpreting exactly what's happening with the eyes and the eyebrows. First of all, the eyebrows are... The shape of them is one, not ideal, and you want to study the ideal for the 14-day challenge. That's another kind of rule for it. You want to study it. The shape itself is very off. And then you've got some value sharing all around. Okay, I'm going to carry this value here and just try to shape out the bridge of the nose. So, I mean, I know ideally you guys want my critiques for every one of your challenges, but if I was doing all those for free, I really wouldn't have private students. So I do, of course, do 14-day challenges. It's a staple. It's a requirement for all my private students who want to work on portraiture. It's always like this, and eventually we move into a final project together. But, you know, ideally I would love to give you all critiques. But for those who are providing critiques for each other, remember these components. Study the large molar geometries first, assess the issues there from there, and then move into the smaller geometries. Remember that it is supposed to be an ideal. It is supposed to be beauty standard because you want to get hired, ideally. But if you do have a specific face you want to study, a specific feature, of course you have that option if you don't really intend on using your skills for money. Alright, so I'm just creating some shadows along here, but the issue is mostly with the eyes. I'm not going to mess around with the nose too much, but please watch my nose video. This person right here, please watch the nose video. I talk about all of the requirements in geometric anatomy, the exact shape you're supposed to be studying in your form study. But the eyes, we're doing a little bit of a slant. You also really detailed the eyes. Like, you brought in detail for the lashes. You brought in detail for the veins in the eyes. You don't need that. You don't need that. Never at any point in time are you going to need all that detail. If the eye is a super close-up and you're drawing a super close-up of the eye, at that point, sure, go ahead. You know, if you're drawing just one eye, you can show us the veins in there, but this is zoomed out. We're not seeing only one eye, we're seeing the whole face. Eventually there'll be hair and clothing. And for you to accent the eye veins so much, is you're drawing a villain. I've covered this before. The more action that happens in the white of the eyes, the more villainous the character looks. You're hiding the white. When you hide the white of the eyes, you're creating a suspicion. Your contrast is way too strong. You might be drawing a darker skinned character, that's fine. But your contrast is still strong. Nothing climbs like this unless it's super oily. So I'm getting rid of that. When it comes to lashes, if you want to draw lashes, please draw the illusion of the texture, not the texture itself. That means just drawing a couple of messy brush strokes that are very painterly. Trust me, it'll give off the effect that you need for lashes. I'm trying to be good to my voice today, so I might cut it short or just rush past the other ones. But for those who are currently in love with the current Cecilia model, I'm so sorry. I love her too. I've been using her a lot in my classes, but it's time for an upgrade. So I did worry about you guys not liking the new model because she's different. I mean, she's gorgeous. That's definitely more realistic. The polys are better. The modeler had much more time this time around to complete them. The UI is also something I really wanted to fix and clean up. I hope you guys grow to like her as I have. What should the name of the new model be? Cecilia version 2. Cecilia 2.0. You need an arc for a female. Eyebrow arc that has a little bit of light underneath it. And of course, like any eyebrow structure, we overblend the bottom. Blend around some of the top. Always introduce the eyebrows as a halo. This little very, very useless palette you have up here, it has a black outline around it anyway, so you're seeing the wrong version of the value. Flatten the head in your drawing. I'm just gonna close this baby. So what you need to do is raise that back up. Right, and I'll show you the before and after. The eyes are a little bit more easy to look at now. I'm getting rid of those veins a little bit more. Also, they were a little bit spaced out, so I have to make them look more focused. Way too much detail, homie. Way too much detail. Yeah. See what I can do. Okay. Before, after. Right, see what I'm saying? That whole, I didn't know what was happening. That value was moving all the way down into the nose from the eyebrows. So you had this gesture, and it was making her into like a non-human, maybe half lizard, half, especially because of this excessive detailing you have around here. And now I've kind of just evened that up. I mean, she looks desperate compared to how angry it looked before, only because of the comparison. But that's how extreme the emotion you had before was. Always look at your navigator if you don't know. Look at your navigators, boys and girls. The eyes still seem a bit too open, too shocked. Kind of looks like that one actress. So I'm just throwing some shadow over top this to soften her eyes a little bit. And bring this back. Right, before, after. Right, some of that light here to bring in that beauty, to see how beautifying that light under the eyebrow is. Don't forget that if you're trying to draw some sort of temptress, beautiful lady. Right, and the nose, please watch the nose video. The lips are pretty great. Again, too much detail. Detail isn't going to paint for you. Geometric anatomy and good edge work is. Drawing, shrinking your brush, and turning on your techno music isn't going to help you. Like a hacker man. You need the real work, the manual labor involved in building values. That stuff is just sparkles. I always give this example. If you're really bad at making tables, but you're great at the embroidery, the filigree, what is it called when they like the carving, the beautiful carvings on the table. You can carve your heart out. If the table can't stand and serve its basic function mechanically, your tables are garbage. They're very decorative firewood, very decorated firewood. So the structure is where the geometric anatomy is. It has to be a nose that can breathe. You flattened it completely because of these shadows on either side. This means you don't understand the shape exactly used for the nose. The shape that is the nose's shape, this pyramid shape, the square, elongated pyramid kind of deal, diamond almost, the shape that I described, that's the shape that you don't have in your visual vocabulary right now. Not visual library, just the vocabulary that you speak with your shadows. What guides your brush? That is lacking right now. That's what's inhibiting the beauty and the believability and the appeal of your painting, and that's what's maximizing the uncanniness and the fear factor and why she looks villainous. You had the wrong expression that you probably didn't know you had. A lot of you guys paint expressions you don't know you're painting. That scares me. If I had that issue, I mean, people could be seeing something else and they just get creeped out, and this whole time I thought I was drawing a Mona Lisa smile. I used to have that a lot. I used to draw these really angry looking bitches, and I used to be like, hey, do you like my drawing? She's like this princess from this faraway land. And my sister would very eloquently ask, why does she look like she's about to kill somebody? Because I didn't have the vocabulary to read that issue in my work. I didn't see it. There's a lot that goes into drawing something successfully. And that was the expression we were seeing there. This is very neutral, very kind of happy neutral. And this was uncanny angry. Okay, so good luck with your 14-day challenge. Apply those corrections. For this piece, the neck is too close to the chin. Very simple. I should have kept PortraitStudio open so I can show you how rotation is such a bitch when it comes to, you can draw a face from front view very, very well. But when it comes to actually applying it on a 3/4 view, applying all those values on a 3/4 view, it's just all your skill goes out the window. And there's nothing you can do. That's the transition. When you transition from front view to 3/4 view, this is what happens. Sorry I'm not looking at the chat. I'll just open it. Okay, I'll be taking questions in about 5 minutes, so get your questions ready. I think I shaved off too much here. Okay, so you've got the front view. Let me just make the light a little bit more front facing. Oops. And then you've got the rotation. To see how far away, let me try to make it exactly as yours. See how far away the neck was? And when we go into, like, let's see if I can find it. When we go into the, stuff like this, moving around the chin, giving her an overbite, completely just getting rid of her chin, that's when we have that kind of like loss of the chin completely. So your front value is just gone. Her lower jaw is gone. People who have this issue can't actually, they actually have issues eating. Okay, so this is when it's that close, but let's put them all back. Let's just reset all of these. It's very far away. It's a functional, perfectly functional jaw. What you had before, you had that exact issue. It's like the chin was gone, except it was the other way around. The neck was too close. The chin was fine where you had it, but the neck was too close. So you need to open that distance. You can't close it either with the neck or the chin. Okay, that was your biggest issue. The neck was too thick. A couple of other issues you have around the eyes. The eyes are very extensive. It's very difficult for me to discuss the eyes without spending 2 hours on them, like that 2-hour eye video I uploaded for you guys. So watch that eye video for me. I do discuss rotating the eyes and how to hide and how to compress. Okay, is it time for some memes? I think so. I'm so sorry for those who I choose and don't meme. I mean, don't critique. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Open original. Should I really do this? So let me take the questions first. Okay. Okay. I rather like the name Simone. Ooh, Simone is a very nice name. Istebrak, I always have a lot of trouble with the head shape. Any specific advice? Try to render the exact head shape in a form study environment. So the head is a pill shape with the 2 sides carved off. So to illustrate, lighting, let me just pick this. Basic pill shape with the 2 sides shaved off. So if you're having issues with the head itself, just the head, let alone all the other complicated features, break it down into a low poly portrait. Make it low poly. Completely just get rid of all that high poly rendering, gradient business, and just see the geometric anatomy. That is my recommendation for you. Alright, everyone's demanding the memes. Istebrak, I always start drawing the features, eyes, nose, lips, then I always have trouble in tracing the head shape. Do you have any specific advice for this? I don't have any measurements because every head is different, but typically what I like to do is just, you use the rule of I mean, I think that there's no actual rule, but the thickness of the eyes is usually, that's the entire length of the chin. The thickness of the nose is the thickness of one eye. The thickness of the lips is in between the two eyes, as long as it's in between the pupils. The length of the nose is like one eye's socket width, sorry. The distance between here and here is probably half an eye. Everyone's face is different though, so it's hard for me to give you measurements. But if you have your horizontal lines and your vertical lines, all you really got to do is measure like half the face from the ear down. From the ears down is, you know, flip it up, and that would be the entire forehead. Maybe a little bit extra higher. Yeah, actually the entire thing. So from this line down, above the eye, up would be the length of from the forehead all the way to the top of the head. And then the chin would be the eye width. And then you've got half the eye width for between the ears. So now you have all the measurements you need to encase the head into proper measurements. But that's just from me looking at this. That's just from me breaking this basic face down. Every face is different. Use references. It'll help you build a better visual library. If one cannot afford your smudging brushes, are there any brushes that you could recommend? Right now, I don't have anything I can name at all. I'm so sorry. I wish I was more like, you know, I wish I communicated more with other YouTubers, or I really avoid that because of one bad incident that I will never repeat again for the rest of my life. Nobody's that important. So I don't really know. I'm not in the know. All I know is my own workspace and you guys. I try to keep it that way. I make a point out of keeping it closed. So I'm so sorry. I don't know any other artists, and I don't know any other their brushes. I'm a bit of a snob that way. I'm so sorry. I admit it. It's very snobby. Yes, I often do give out my brushes to note takers. I haven't been on top of that lately, but I will try to be on top of that as soon as possible. Would it be too much to ask for your computer specs? I've done a lot of research, but there are many different options on it. I have about almost 30 gigabytes of RAM. I upgraded my computer. I have a 980 Ti graphics card, NVIDIA, which is pretty good. I have a lot of disk space. I don't know what that's called when you've got the partitions. So I've got a lot of space there. I'm not sure. I think I have an i7 core processor. I think that's what it's called. A motherboard. I don't know. It's a gaming computer. If you're at a loss for what kind of computer to get to make Photoshop work, get a gaming computer. They're designed to make this rendering possible. They're designed to work with PortraitStudio. They're designed to work with graphics heavy anything. So if it works for a game, and those games have crazy frame rates, and they can work on really high graphics performance, then yeah, you can. It'll definitely work for all your drawing needs, all your design needs. It runs ZBrush on probably 6 subdivisions smoothly. It's just humming, you know, on 6 subdivisions, and it's a pretty like completed bust. I haven't tried anything full body on ZBrush, but it runs ZBrush very smoothly. I don't know what it's called. I think it's an Asus. Of who knows these things. It's a striker. It's called a striker. It's a gaming computer, and I just bought whatever I could find that had all of the stuff I needed. A 1080 Ti or whatever it's called. I don't think you guys need that level. Let's look at some memes, okay? Let's look at some memes. I don't always write that back to Istebrak, but when I do, I copy and paste it. When you just ask chat to focus to this is my mod. This is one of my mods. When you just ask the chat to focus on class, and Istebrak gets going on Taliban beard. It was a proverb, okay? This one's good. I'm not sure if it's dark midtones or light shadows. This one's very relevant. When you try to keep the class focused on the, when you try to keep the chat focused on the class, but Istebrak decides to showcase dank memes. It's Very, very good. Okay, this is from Kina. Critiques will only help you, and I'm trying to teach. Nah, fuck you. It's my style. This is really good. Studying the muscles and bones for anatomy. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh my god, this is really good. When Istebrak chooses your piece for critique, but she doesn't have time. That was a good one. What's this guy called? Bad luck what? Oh man, oh man. Jeremy's got us hooked. Oh man. Oh man, they're oh god, Jeremy, one of these days. One does not simply say boobies on stream and expect the chat to focus on the lesson. What if I asked you over and over, what program do you use? I don't know if you get this one, but that's Johnny. That's that troll. Istebrak when she says before. This is really giving me insight into your minds and what you guys think when I'm teaching. When Ista asks what light environment you're making, I don't know. Fuck if I know. Stay on topic, boobies. Oh, so this is a mod. Civil War. I can't breathe. When Ista critiques your work, but you already posted your shitty version on social media. It's just sitting there. I don't get this one. I don't get this one, Jeremy. Oh my god, this one's good. Does my art suck, Ista? Yes. Like and subscribe. Oh my god. It's a cast shadow, she says. It's all about the light, not the characters, she says. How in the fuck do you render this shit, Charles? I don't get it. Who's Charles? When you render the boobies. Oh my god. She's gonna do the before and after. Prepare your butthole. It's supposed to be so hot right now, though. That's the caption for this one. This is good. When you become mod and are proud, then Tom makes the Encyclopedia Britannica of art, and now you look bad. Tom, our local badass, our resident badass, basically put together an index, and his performance off duty dwarfed the performance of all my mods. When Ista says it's okay to go off reference. How? 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 This is good. Ista, let me just delete this half of the painting first. It's important to you guys. I was describing this before. That half of the painting is important to you guys, but I'm letting you know it's not. So don't take it personally. After hours with Istebrak, painting, sculpting, league, reading from chat, getting McDonald's, learning jujitsu, changing my gender. Because I have too many slashes for my for my after hours. Ista, see that beautiful painstakingly crafted piece over there? Let me critique this form study instead. What? I never skip stuff. I go for it. What? Gray background, not set to E. Watch me not critique. If I do critique it, I change it to this one. Change it to that. Ethan, what the fuck? The chat just wants to talk about boobies, man. God, Ethan, take it easy. This is so good. This is so good. When you're the one getting critiqued. Really? You guys are happy? I thought that you guys probably just, you know, get really sad and scared and you get, like, ass sweat. Somebody's bloody socks are coming off. I don't get this. And then he said, Istebrak was better than Jazza. What? Who's Jazza? Draw with Jazza? That one? We're like completely different stuff. What? I don't know. Bounce light? Ain't nobody got time for that. What if monthly challenges took place every month? See, I don't call them challenges. Monthly challenges, I just call them challenges, alright? Oh look, a nice crispy edge. Let me fuck everything up with my smudge tool. Shrink your smudge brush when you're smudging core edges. Sorry, Ista, I'm busy eating Cheetos and my fingers are sticky. I'll have to write that back to you later. Badass. Hey, Antares, yes, Abu, someday you'll be mod too. Ha ha ha, no you fucking won't, it just rhymed. Poor Antares, is he here? Is he here today? I'll make him mod right now. Where are you at, Antares, baby? I feel so bad. There he is. I'm sorry, it took me forever. Okay. You will make robot children the next monthly challenge. This is when it was a choice between the two. Before they both were chosen. This is so good. Because the Discord has been pretty exclusive of what the rest of the community thinks we do in the Discord. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. I have a stylist. I can't breathe. I have a wake up driver not fell. Oh my god. I can't breathe. Oh my god. I can't even upload this. You should upload these like on Imager. Alright, gentlemen, we need a new idea. Any ideas? Form studies. Pin up with big boo. Are these the men in your brain? I am a master of the smudge tool. JK, give me the alt eye drop. Guys, she made me mod. Can we talk about boobs in chat now? No. Doesn't know what to say. One does not simply... Oh, there we go. Those were beautiful. This is my favorite one of all of them. This is my absolute favorite one. Everyone wants to get into the Discord, and the reason why I don't is because it got pretty bad later on. So I had to just minimize the amount of guests we had in there. And it's a pretty close-knit family, so as we introduce people in, it would make a point out of introducing people in there. We're also pretty strict with the amount of content, with the kind of content shared, so, we don't really share that NSFW stuff in there. It's a pretty like-minded group of people, just there to study, discuss all the good stuff that comes with art. It's not so much as a chat group that is like casual about art. It's like 75% art, which is a lot, up to 80 sometimes. Never thought Istebrak streams would be so funny. Excuse me? Why are we talking about boobs? Yeah, please don't. Please don't. The Spider-Man one was, yeah, the Spider-Man was, yeah, that was good. That was really good. I can't keep looking at these. I have to be able to breathe. Okay, so to sum up for today, this weird day we've had, go to Istebrak.com, join the community, and download your resource pack if you want to participate. To upload your submissions, please make sure you're using the challenge submissions. Do not upload it to miscellaneous. It's not miscellaneous if it's part of a challenge. Alright, so if I see any miscellaneous, I'm just going to put them into challenge submission. I'm not going to delete them or anything. I'm going to put them in there with a very angry face. So please make sure you're submitting to the right category. If you want a Discord invite, the question of the evening, and you want to be included in this tiny little Discord community, message me on Facebook explaining why. How long you've been part of the community. I'm not just opening up for people who've just come in. I have to see you a couple times in our stream for you to join. For those lucky few who got to get in when I first opened it, who proved not to be creeps and were just great people, they're still in there. And they were pretty early, but now of course they've got time in. And it's months now that the Discord has been up. But yeah, if you'd like to be a part of the Discord, just message me on Facebook. I don't know how long you've been on the community, but it's got to be a decent amount of time. Just so you can tell that you're not a creep, really. It's always about the weird creeps that come in and just ruin it for everyone and post their nasty little fetish, My Little Pony, furry stuff. Okay, that's it for today. I will see you guys on Tuesday, the 30th. Good luck with all your stuff. If you have any more questions, just ask me on the pin on the wall right here. I will try to update this with all the new information about the requirements for the challenge. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye-bye.